History, military equipment, and the China factor explain India's reticence on Russia. History, even before India became independent, it was inclined to socialism. Post-independence, it became a de facto Cold War ally. It was, of course, non-aligned, but we know where India stood. Military equipment, most of it comes from Russia, and Russia's equipment is cheaper. It can be modified as India wishes, unlike Western equipment, which is more advanced, more reliable, but also more expensive. And the China factor, which is that given the fact that India relies on Russian kit, if Russia was to turn against India, India would face catastrophic defeat. India relies on Russia for defense, energy, and geopolitical reasons. On defense, given the fact that an estimated 70% of Indian defense military kit is Russian, India needs spare parts, critical particularly in times of war. When it comes to new kit, Russia allows India to modify it the way India wants. That is a big advantage. And also, Russia allows transfer of technology, which the US, other countries in Europe, and even France are reticent about. For energy, the option of cheap or cut price oil allows India to negotiate better with its Middle Eastern energy suppliers. And when it comes to geopolitical needs, Russia has backed India on Kashmir consistently over many decades, and India is unsure about Western backing on Kashmir. Well, part of it is a legacy of the Cold War. India was very much on the Soviet side, even if it was a soft Soviet ally. Then in 1971, the US backed a military dictatorship in Pakistan, whilst India was trying to liberate Bangladesh. Remember, Pakistan was running a genocidal regime in Bangladesh and using rape as a weapon of war. India has not forgotten that. In the 1980s, the US funded a jihad in Afghanistan. Some of that money was used to fuel insurgency in India. And 1989 onwards, in Kashmir, many of these jihadis created mayhem. Recently, the withdrawal from Afghanistan has upset India. India spent an arm and a leg supporting the US-backed administration in Kabul, and India feels betrayed. There's also that tiny little matter of political discord. India believes it is given no credit for sending 50,000 tons of wheat to Afghanistan, even though the US pulled out. Recently, the US raised issues of human rights, and this is where the left-leaning Democrat government has no trust, in fact, has a huge trust deficit with the right-leaning BJP government. And the BJP government believes that the Democrats are plotting an orange revolution to unseat them, just as they did in Ukraine. India and China share over 3,000 kilometers of border, and this border is not defined. There was a war in 1962, and there was a clash in 2020. Should China launch a full-scale invasion, and should Russia back China, even if covertly, India would face catastrophic defeat. So, India wants Russia to play the role of an honest broker, and good ties with Russia are an insurance against defeat vis-a-vis China. India's best case scenario is a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine and the end of sanctions. Remember, India imports military kit both from Ukraine and Russia. So this war is causing havoc with its supplies. Also remember, India gets its investment from the US. India exports to the US, especially services, especially IT services. India sends students by the thousands to the US. So India is deeply integrated into the US economic system. So with these sanctions, India is suffering immensely. Inflation is up, both oil and food. as well as India's trade is suffering all around. So India wants peace so that it can trade with everyone, it can bring inflation down, and it can boost employment up.
Join the conversation at Fair Observer and subscribe to our YouTube channel.